The only drawback to getting this good at hosting is that people will always want events to be at your place. Hi ladies, welcome back to the Feminine Universe. I am so happy to have you here. I think we all have people whose events we RSVP to right away because we know it's going to be a vibe. And others we try to use every excuse we can to avoid attending. That's why today we're talking all about hosting, the etiquette, the preparation, and the little touches that make people genuinely excited to come back to your home or to your events. So anything you plan will always be an automatic yes. So whether you're having house guests, hosting for the holidays, planning a dinner party, or inviting a friend or significant other over for dinner, I wanted to give you something to feel more confident, creating a warm and welcoming environment, and for making a great impression. So if you're ready to be the hostess with the mostest, let's get started. Tip number 1 is realize it starts with the invitation. Hosting etiquette starts way before anyone walks through the door. It starts with the invitation. If you're the one inviting people or throwing an event, you want to give people a decent amount of notice. Now, of course, if it's a casual hangout with close friends or family, you can plan something off the cuff and say, hey, are you free this weekend? Or we're overdue for some girl time. And that's totally fine. But if it's something a little more formal, like a dinner party, a birthday, or a holiday gathering, people need time. They may want to buy a gift, secure childcare, or adjust their schedule in other ways. For events that are more low-key, 2 to 4 weeks of notice is usually enough. For something a bit more serious, 1 to 2 months is a good ballpark. And your invitation should tell people everything they need to know so they can comfortably decide yes or no. Include things like the date, the time, the location, any dress code, whether they'll be expected to pay for themselves if you're doing something at a restaurant or something like that. Now, side note, this isn't traditional etiquette. The host is typically expected to cover the expenses of the event, but arrangements like this have become more accepted and more commonplace in modern times. Also, let them know if kids are welcome and when you would like them to RSVP by. Also, let them know in the invitation that you're looking forward to their presence. Think of the invitation as the first moment where your guests should feel informed, comfortable, and excited to be there. Tip number 2 is it's all about the preparation and the vibes. One of the most important parts of hosting is preparation. The more you prepare ahead of time, the more relaxed you are the day of, and the more cared for your guests feel. Preparation shows people you value their time and their presence. So before people arrive, make sure your space is clean. Make sure you're ready to start at the time you said, with a little flexibility depending on your crowd. Also, have a little background music playing as people start to arrive. Nothing too loud. We're not going for house party vibes. Just something low so your space isn't totally silent, but people can still talk comfortably. I also recommend having drinks and appetizers ready the minute your guests walk in. There's something about handing someone a drink right when they arrive that instantly relaxes the mood and gives them something to focus on. Another little trick I swear by is keeping easy emergency appetizers in the freezer for unexpected or extra guests. Things like mini meatballs that I can just stick cute toothpicks into, coconut shrimp, wings, or those little phyllo pastry cups that I can fill with something savory like ground beef or something sweet like fruit and whipped cream in 5 minutes. These little apps can save you in a pinch. Of course, remember to have the Wi-Fi password available and visible so you don't cause a riot. Now let's talk about the private guests' needs, which a lot of people forget, and this will take your hosting to the next level because it's stuff people may not always think about, but it truly makes a difference when they need it. So in your bathroom, keep extra toilet paper visible, check throughout the night if this needs to be restocked, keep a plunger in there, have air freshener or toilet spray available, Leave some wipes and some feminine hygiene products available as well, because Aunt Flo shows up at the most random times. Maybe even keep a little bowl of individually packed painkillers or antacids, because headaches and indigestion do not care that you're at someone's house. Having these things visible and accessible means your guests never have to hunt you down or awkwardly ask for help in the middle of an uncomfortable moment. And that is such a gift and such an elevated touch. Now, for the vibes part, we love a good theme, but you don't need a full theme every time you host. But having a vibe always makes your event feel intentional and memorable. If you're doing an Italian-inspired dinner, play a little Italian music, even if it's just instrumental. Serve an Aperol Spritz, and maybe put beautiful scenes of Italy on your TV in slideshow mode. If it's Mexican-inspired, throw on some Spanish music and serve fun, themed drinks like margaritas along with the classic dishes you're preparing. It doesn't have to be elaborate, but making it all feel a little more connected and cohesive makes it feel like one experience rather than several random moments stuck together. Lastly, this isn't necessarily a must, but it's always a really nice touch to let people leave with something. So first, have to-go plates available if it's something where there is lots of food and you want people to take some home. And then have a signature take-home treat. Now, this doesn't even have to be a full-on party favor if it's not a birthday or baby shower or something. You can just have a classic bowl of chocolates or mints that you always put out at the end of every event that people can take a few to go with. That can become your signature thing, and when that mint bowl comes out, people can softly get the signal that it's the end of the evening and we're wrapping up. The third tip is it's all about the warmth and welcoming. So once people start arriving, remember your warmth is everything. Everyone understands you're the hostess. They're not expecting you to spend the entire night glued to them. But remember, people are leaving their homes, getting dressed, maybe getting a babysitter, rearranging their schedules, or just fighting their antisocial urges, all to support you and spend time with you. So do your best to welcome each person as they arrive, or at least make your way around the room at some point during the evening to say hello. Just a minute or two of genuine acknowledgement and conversation makes people feel comfortable and appreciated. Also, take note of people's needs as part of making them feel welcomed. If you invite someone with kids, make sure they're somewhere calm they can take their child if they get overstimulated or need a diaper change or needs to lie down. If someone has dietary restrictions, whether they're vegetarian, gluten-free, or dairy-free, try to provide at least one or two options for them. If someone doesn't drink, make sure they have something fun but non-alcoholic to enjoy. Mocktails are always super cute. These tiny gestures say, I see you, I thought of you, you're welcomed here, you're not a burden. And that's a feeling people never forget. Tip number 4 is to provide guidance and create connections. Another part of hosting that people often forget is giving the night a little structure. Nothing rigid, just enough to avoid awkward pauses where people don't know what to do or what's happening. Let people know what's coming up, like what time dinner will be served, if there's a toast or activity or game planned, when dessert is happening, because seriously, when are we cutting the cake? A gentle flow helps everyone feel relaxed and in the know. Another thing you can do, and I especially love this for guests who may be super introverted or who don't know many people here, is place tiny versions of simple games or activities around the room, like a mini Jenga or a tiny tic-tac-toe set. Nothing messy, nothing intrusive, just something people can occupy themselves with if they need a minute or don't know how to jump into a conversation yet. It doubles as decor and gives people something to do with their hands. Now let's talk about one of the most underrated hosting skills, which is connecting people. Unless your event is only close family and best friends, some people won't know each other. So it's your job as the hostess to help people meet each other. And you can do this in such fun, effortless ways. If two of your friends work in the same industry, introduce them. Like, I had to introduce my two favorite accountants. If two people from your different friend groups both have amazing style, you can say, I had to introduce my two most stylish friends. If two moms have kids around the same age, connect them that way. If two single friends might click, you can introduce them without making it awkward by focusing on something neutral they both have in common besides being single, like a place they've both traveled to or a hobby they both happen to share. This is how your events become places where people meet new friends, new business partners, and even future romantic partners. And honestly, as an introvert, this helps me so much as well, because once my people are connected and talking to each other, they don't need as much attention from me. Great hosts don't hoard their guests, they create community. Hosting isn't about being perfect. It's about inviting people into an atmosphere that feels thoughtful, warm, and fun. If your guests leave thinking, wow, she really put thought into this, she made us feel welcome, I had a great time, then you did an incredible job. And when you can regularly create that, people won't just come to your events, they'll look forward to them. I hope this gave you some ideas and some inspiration for your next gathering. I can assure you the only drawback to getting this good at hosting is that people will always want events to be at your place. But that's what boundaries are for, right? You've got this. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your community, and create simple but magical, memorable moments. Until next time, ladies, stay feminine, stay focused, and have fun.